isn't the trailer for Netflix's new Emma Chamberlain movie. It's actually a film made by two brothers from Australia who over the past year have been flying across the Pacific Ocean to make movies about the biggest YouTubers alive.
Final Cut King.
And then tracking down those YouTubers and screening their movies for them in a real-life theater.
How did you know all this?
I'm gonna cry already.
All in an effort to make a movie for the biggest catch of them all.
You guys are so exciting.
But what's even more impressive than their ambition is their storytelling genius.
If there's a list of beats and you can just say, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, then you don't have a story.
They have crazy attention to detail and unbelievable grit, shooting most of these movies in just 3 days.
One time we're editing on the Uber ride to the premiere.
Their pre-production process is so in-depth.
This is like our brain dump of our research.
And with each project, they're also creating a behind-the-scenes documentary.
Cut. That was so good.
First shot in the bag.
So I'm sitting down with Lucas and Curtis to break down their beautifully artistic Emma Chamberlain film and see if we can figure out how they arrived at one of the most unique formats on the internet. Guys, welcome to Digital Spaghetti.
So good to be here.
Great to be here.
This is our first published episode with our brand new Digital Spaghetti.
It looks
No
amazing.
way.
It looks
you guys
so cool.
are the inaugural new set
We are
guests.
honored.
Such a vibe.
There are so many cameras in here.
Yes, that's my first drone.
No way.
Nice.
That's when drones used to weigh 50 pounds.
That's awesome. I can spot some creator Easter eggs in here too.
Sure.
Oh, that Gox.
That's
artwork.
Gox, right?
That's a Gox
How much
original.
you could sell that
Yeah.
for a lot.
Yeah.
And Ryan NG's poster.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Ryan and G.
Yep. That's the creator village from the creator camp.
Good Mythical Morning.
Yep. Rhett and Link. So yeah, that's the set. We're pretty excited about
I
it.
But-
think it's missing something.
Yeah, it's missing something. We actually brought something to add to the set. This is our creator Easter egg.
Yeah, our
Shit.
addition to the set.
Yeah.
You guys can hang this up somewhere.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Emma the movie.
Hopefully it's not too big, but
Let's put it up.
That's perfect right there.
All right. Can you give us a sense of what we're about to watch right here? What is this?
This is if Emma Chamberlain's life was a movie.
Let's jump in.
Hey, I spoke with your mom. I just wanted to say, I mean, if it's too toxic, if it's costing you too much, just forget about it.
People talk a lot about their stuff being cinematic on YouTube, and there's actually a bunch of great YouTubers who make like really cinematic stuff. This definitely already feels like a movie. How are you guys achieving that? And maybe like there's like little things, like even the first, like the music, starting with music instead of a hey guys, right? It's like first kind of thing.
yeah.
Second thing is like the lenses that you're using and the way the shots are sort of composed and exposed.
Yeah.
Like there's so many little things that make it feel cinematic. What do you think is it that makes it feel like a movie?
I think we try to, as soon as you click play, immerse you into the story straight away. So to us, that means like not just focusing on one thing, but like every single aspect of it all starting at the same time. The music, like you said, the music, the cinematography, but the story, like it throws you into the story straight away.
Conflict straight away.
Conflict straight away.
Yes. There's conflict straight away, but it doesn't feel like a cold open. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the most YouTube videos that I see nowadays is like the first minute is like, here's what we're going to do in this 6-minute thing that you're about to watch. And then you watch what they say you are going to watch. You're not doing that here. You're just letting us know something is wrong. Somebody's on the ground. There's a distressed voicemail happening.
Yeah.
But you're not telling us what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That to me is one of the things that makes it feel most cinematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think the idea of like when you feel like a movie is playing, it's kind of like unraveling before you. We're not telling anyone anything. We're just like, watch this.
Right.
Look at this.
Yes.
This is kind of interesting. Why is this person on the floor?
Yes.
And what is so wrong right now? And if you have enough questions visually and it looks intriguing, then I think that's kind of cinematic.
Yeah. We try to make the audience feel like there's questions like as soon as you start watching it. So like how early can we create the intrigue in this film? And like if it can be on the first frame even, like that's ideal. So that the audience feel like there's this moving train that they need to jump on and then they're in the story kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think so much about good filmmaking is posing questions as the filmmaker
Yeah.
rather than explaining things.
Yeah.
It's not explaining things
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
job. Like
Yeah.
ask the question instead. And that kind of makes it feel really exciting and interesting and engaging, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, there's so many questions in the first bit. Is she passed out? Is she
Yeah.
drunk? Like,
she okay?
who's talking on the phone?
Yeah.
I spoke with your mom. I just wanted to say, I mean, if it's too toxic, if it's costing you too much, just forget about it. Screw the upload schedule. Just take a break. You've got to live too.
Why 4x3? How come you guys are doing 4x3? That should make it feel less cinematic.
This is the
Yeah.
first time we've really used this.
Yeah, it's our first time using 4x3. I think like the most uncinematic is 16:9 because everyone's just that's
Used to
every
that.
YouTube video.
Mm.
So for us, it was like Emma Chamberlain doesn't seem like this super cinematic kind of like story that we need to do like
Yeah.
these cine bars and be over cinematic. But then we're like, but it's 16:9 is too common.
Mm.
So 4x3 was like, oh wait, this is like a cool indie aspect ratio. Reminds you of like A24 movies,
Mm.
Wes Anderson
Yeah.
movies. I think it is cinematic in just a different kind of way.
Yeah. And we actually got inspired to do that. First of all, talking with our like cinematographer that we collaborate with.
Yeah.
But also when we were interviewing her dad to like kind of research on the story, he was talking about his paintings and also Ozu,
Ozu.
this filmmaker that he's inspired by. Just the way he was like talking about his paintings and his work and even how it looks. His canvases are very square. And so we kind of thought we can take that visual style and implement it into this trailer, which is also why 98% of this trailer was shot on the same lens, a 28mm lens.
Yeah, we didn't change lenses and we kind of try to keep it on sticks. There's very minimal movement.
Mm.
I think that all plays into the aspect ratio.
Kind of
The
making it feel
4x3.
like it's this composed painting. That's
Yeah.
like every shot is a new painting.
And did you guys decide that beforehand? 28mm lens, everything's on sticks. Like, are those decisions that you make
That
going
was
into it?
actually on the first shot. We were framing it up and then we were talking about it with our cinematographer.
And every time we
And-
set up a new shot, it was like, should we just keep this lens on? And then by the halfway through the shoot, we're like, we've been shooting on this thing this whole time. Let's just keep it on. And so we just kept it going and like, still haven't changed lenses. Day 3, still haven't changed lenses.
Yeah, so it wasn't like planned. It was
Mhm.
more like first shot, set it up. Wait, we should shoot this for 3.
Mm.
And then we
Mhm.
kept it.
Wow,
we
so you
kept
guys
the
are like
lens.
making those decisions like on
Yeah.
set while
Yeah.
it's like shooting actors.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not smart, but yeah.
no, that's cool though.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
For a shot like this that
Mm.
we're looking at right now,
Mhm.
is that just all natural light, or do you guys have any extra stuff or anything helping the frame, like diffusers or reflectors or anything else on set?
I think we have a little bounce. Not like a reflector, but like a white bounce. But that might be all
I think that's all natural there.
Yeah.
Something we do all the time is we have like this piece of negative fill, which is basically just like this
Mhm.
dark material that
Doesn't reflect any light.
doesn't reflect any light. And like we use that on almost every shot. It doesn't look great in the BTS because it like covers half the shot with like this massive black thing. But
That's like our
That's
favorite
our-
thing to
yeah.
use.
that's our
negative
little
fill.
cheat code that we've been using. Even like before we had like awesome lights, just like making the shot so much more contrasty and
Dramatic.
dynamic,
Moody,
dramatic,
Yeah.
just by adding this little like piece of dark material that you bring really close to the face.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you do that on the shadow side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the shadow side.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All for like all your shots, you're adding negative fill
Yeah,
on the shadow
basically.
side?
Unless it's just naturally like that in the room.
So it's just like dialing up the drama just a
Yeah.
tad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. Maybe
Yeah.
that's one of the things that really makes it feel more like a movie. It's like a bit more dramatic.
I think
looking,
so.
Bit
And
higher contrast.
Even that first scene where she was lying down, we kind of lucked out. That room was like fully blacked out. All the walls were painted black, so we didn't need to use it there. But the first scene was very dramatic just because that room was very dark, and we used only a little bit of light.
If you actually look at this, like most of the frame is obscured. Like we really
Yeah.
don't know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like there's all these. This is all dark. This is all dark. That's all dark. Like you can tell there's a person there, but I guess maybe I feel like I don't have the confidence to shoot that much darkness or something. Like it requires some guts to like
Yeah.
say like, yeah, we're gonna just have most of the frame be black.
Yeah. Especially on the first frame of a
Yeah.
YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever
It's-
worry about that, or you don't think about
We
that?
worry
that
about
way?
it being too bright.
Tell me
Because
more.
we like the dark. So I think the main thing with like a dark frame, it only points you to look at a certain thing. My eyes are just being drawn to this like this reflection in the phone, and
Because
it's
you're
the
like trying to see who it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we focused on the dad. So you're like, if you figure it out after a little bit, you're like, okay, I can see that it's her dad on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little bit of like you got to search around the frame,
Mm.
but the light is kind of like drawing you to there.
Right.
If it's too much to look at, if it's too bright, then it's a different decision. I think it's like darkness lets you focus on whatever is bright.
What are the conversations like with your cinematographer as you're setting this up? Like, are you guys saying like we want it to look mysterious, or like, or what? How do you communicate?
Our cinematographer is super gracious because we definitely have a clear vision in our head of like exactly how we want it as well.
Yeah.
So it's this interesting collaboration of he's so talented at like taking the mumbling words we spit out and turning them into a frame that's so gorgeous. But we definitely have a clear vision of like we see this low angle shot of a phone on the ground. She's kind of in the background, but it's like really shallow focus on the phone. And I guess we kind of land with this in the end.
Yeah, I think we also talk about the motivation of the light. We like to set things up as much as we can backlit because it's just a nicer image. And then if we need to kind of shape the image, that's when we talk and we're like, how would he want to shape the light around this? And
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like you start with like what's in the room, where do we want to position this, and then we let our cinematographer kind of like shape the light.
Okay, so is there a negative fill there, or is that just the black?
That's
yeah,
just
that's
the black
no,
walls.
that's negative fill as well.
Oh yeah, we probably did it too.
Yeah. I
Wow.
remember because I was hiding behind it and I couldn't see her.
And this light in the bathroom, that was a complete accident, but we kept it on.
It's nice.
It's so nice.
Maybe one of the tough things that you guys have to do that a lot of other YouTubers don't have to do is casting.
Yeah.
On this show, we never talk about casting because it's not a thing. But with you guys, casting is like a big piece of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what have you learned about casting, and how do you find people who not only look like the person you're telling the story about, but also are right for the story you guys want
Yeah.
to tell?
That's a great question.
I'll say that, especially in our earlier trailers, we didn't have much resources to work with. We didn't really have an audience, so we were really just casting off people we found online. Still do, actually.
This is Jake, a TikToker from Nebraska who got an overwhelming number of votes to be cast in the Ryan Trahan movie, and we thought he'd be perfect.
We were just literally trying to find someone who's willing to do this with us. Someone who's like a fun personality to be with, someone who is okay to be on the behind the scenes and like down to try acting. And sometimes they hadn't ever, most of the time they've never acted in their life.
Because that kind of broadens the scope to find a good doppelganger.
Mm.
Because so we're either like, it's kind of like some balance beams of like lookalike versus actor. And on this one, we somehow nailed both.
Mm.
But like, for example, on Zach King,
That was an insane doppelganger. by the
Danny
way.
looked exactly
Insane.
like Zach,
Yes.
but
But
he
he's
never
never
acted
acted.
before in his life.
Yeah.
But we also love that because we feel like we can help anyone, perform on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And if we couldn't do that, then this would be way harder.
Yeah.
Right.
But so there's a balance like that. We kind of use like different, traditional methods. Then we also sometimes have to like talk to like friends and like, do you know anyone that looks like this?
Or put out a post.
Put out a post on Instagram.
And also we're trying to do this like kind of
quiet.
secretly so that our audience doesn't like, so we don't spoil the next trailer we're doing. Just because we feel like that's really fun when it's a surprise for our audience. Who
Yeah.
we're doing next.
Yeah.
But a big thing with casting too is it's so fun to ask for self tapes.
Yeah.
So like we give them a bit of the script. They send back like a 1 minute, 30-second thing. We'll send you Rachel's one when she did
Emma.
for the
Mhm.
first time. And we just like, it's the funnest moment when we see it like, oh my gosh, she looks like Emma.
I thought that was
She's
Emma.
acting like Emma. This is crazy.
Honestly, this whole month I've been away from home. Took a 2-week trip earlier this month. Now I'm on another trip. Like I've been going a little rogue.
So I feel like we get lucky a lot of the times. And
Yeah.
I don't know how we
Especially
pull
on
it
the
off.
tight turnaround. I don't know how
Yeah.
we find these people, but it always works out.
The little ramp. Do you guys just have like a trailer pack of sound effects, or like what's your where does all the swooshes and the
Yeah.
whoops and the impact sound effects?
Yeah,
come
we
from?
have a whole bunch. And then every time we do a new video, we're like, oh, we're overusing this one. Let's find some similar ones and just add more to the pack.
Yeah.
So now we have like a big stack.
Yeah.
And we highlight our favorite ones.
Yeah.
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 Where did you what download did you use? Use Splice or
Um,
something like that? I found
I don't
really
know. I
good.
think I saw this Facebook ad for a sound effect bundle. I just downloaded it one time,
Mhm.
shared it with Lucas, and now it's like all we use.
It's like really obscure places. I forget where I've downloaded stuff from as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of like, if they have the right vibe, then we just like add them to the collection.
I'd like to be under the sea. Horses guard in the shade. Well, he let us in. He knows where we've been. You know.
God, these are all so gorgeous. I want to stop on all of them. Let's start this one here.
Nice.
Walk me through this. Like what's happening in this frame? Clearly you're like picking magic hour or like specific times a day to get like certain locations. It just the lighting just feels too good to not be
Yeah.
intentional there.
Yeah, so this one we were filming in SF, and we had a cafe that was booked for the morning, and they let us shoot in the morning. And as soon as we got there, we were like, "Oh, the sun is beautiful right now. We can't go shoot inside. Let's do the outside shots."
Yeah.
So we ran across the street,
The sun was like streaming down the street perfectly.
and then we were like, "This is awesome." And we love the color contrast on the green and the red and the red.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that kind of really pops the image too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then as soon as they walk out of the store, the sun like hits their face really nice.
Yeah. All of that's just
Yeah.
so it just feels like a dream. Feels like
Yeah.
a memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows where we've been.
I love the shot into the sun.
Yeah.
In the shade.
What's this setup? Walk us through this setup. That also looks incredible. That is lit, right? That's not just
Yep.
natural light.
Yeah. First of all, this is Michael Chamberlain's house. So that's Emma's dad. And we just walked in and we're like, this is beautiful in here. There's like 2 windows that were like,
Naturally
lighting the room really well.
Backlighting him.
So we just kind of accentuated it. So
Mhm.
there's another light. There's a window off to the
Left.
left,
Mhm.
but we brought a little light around to add more fill.
It's always nice when you can like add lights. It's to accentuate what the natural light's already doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a window there coming through. So we didn't have to do anything on that window because it hit him really nice. Kind of like making sure the lights feel motivated. The lighting doesn't feel like you're in a studio
Right.
where there's clearly lights set up. What's also really cool about this shot, he's singing Octopus Garden and there's like an octopus in the background here, which we found really cool. Little Easter egg.
When you get to a location like this,
Mm.
I'm assuming you've got a shot list. You've got most of the story mapped out, or like
Yeah.
what has come before this moment that allows you to spend so much time like on every single shot getting just the right vibe.
We arrived at a set like this and we're just like, we know we want a wide shot of him playing guitar to her. And we know we want a close up on him and a close up on her just to get the coverage for the scene.
How do you know you want that? Is that in a shot list that you've mapped out? Do you have a script? Like what's the
Yeah.
pre-production?
So we write out a script. We
It's
have
right
one here. This script was like how many pages? 9 pages.
Oh, you
but-
guys format it like a script.
It's written as the edit would play out. So, like for example, we're already talking about like cutting back and forth to the cafe scene or to the beach scene.
Or even this,
Mm.
for example. So it starts with the VO that you hear on the phone. And then we have the 3 shots that we cut to in the
Right.
shower outside, like with the sun beaming on her face.
Wait, really? Like this much? You guys didn't make this script after the fact and match it with the edit? Like you
No.
had this much before you actually went in for the actual shot.
Yeah.
Well, this is a pretty late script. So it was like a couple days before. So that was like as we really had it in our heads and
Mhm.
how it was going to play out.
But yeah, usually people wouldn't write the edit like that.
And then even cutting back to like the VO for the final line screwed
Go
up
to the
the schedule.
schedule.
Because we're doing a trailer, it's all like so all over the place.
Right.
We need to be efficient and we need to know that we're only shooting this line because it goes here and the formatting is really important.
And do you guys collaborate on this together, or does one of you sort of like take lead and the other kind of edits and helps? Like how do you collaborate on the creation of this document? And does it
Mhm.
start with this or does it start with something else?
Kind of starts with a bit of research. We're starting to like to split up to do some research. We both have our own documents that we create, and then we come down, sit on a table, and then this is where we like record for the BTS. But we're kind of like pitching each other our ideas, and we can tell if we land on the same ideas.
Then we know it's like, okay, if he resonated with that, I resonated, then that's definitely going in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a debate. And
Otherwise, we're like,
see who-
oh, like we're pitching to each other and like saying, I think this should be in here for this. He might have an idea that like competes with that, and then we literally just battle it out and say like, well, this is why I think it's this, and then one of us will cave.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the script.
when we're like in pre-production, the script feels like the last priority because we're trying to get locations, we're trying to get actors locked in. We're about to shoot in a couple of weeks. So the first couple versions of this script is terrible.
Yeah.
And we have to send it to actors so that they have something to read. If we sent you guys the script for that, it wouldn't even be like readable. It's just like a mess.
Really
But-
lame dialogue and like not expressing like what the place looks like and stuff like
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah. So then we always get it kind of finished just before we shoot.
Do you use this to sort of create a shot list, or do you go to the locations with just the script?
We usually make a shot list
If we have time.
if we have time. And it's usually like on the way to the location, writing it in because of time sake.
even
but
like
we would
What we're doing for the day at least.
yeah.
Each morning we'll try and write down a rough idea.
But it's part of our schedule always to like do a shot list beforehand because we want to talk to the cinematographer and give him an idea. Sometimes we get time, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
So we do arrive on set with like dot points,
Yeah.
shot list ideas.
Does the cinematographer bring the gear and the lights and the negative fill and the bounces, and like the cinematographer brings all that? So you guys are like, you're not only hiring like a camera person, you're like you're renting the gear for the day. Basically. Okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it's only just becoming that because like even less than a year ago, we were just filming on our FX3,
Yeah.
like the negative fill I was telling you about.
Right.
Just us two and one helper.
hmm
And it's starting to feel more like a professional set where
Right.
there's a person who comes with rented gear and a bit of a crew, some production assistants.
There's
and
like
stuff.
a cinematographer, first assistant cinematographer, second assistant cinematographer, sometimes.
Mm.
And then like PAs, a grip. So it's like a set of like 10 people
Yeah.
nowadays.
And sometimes, like, if we can't find a sound guy, I'll just jump on sound and
Yeah.
try and help out.
You're legit making movies.
We're trying
You're
to.
making
yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another like insight is like, why does it feel so cinematic? It's because
Yeah.
like you're getting like some pretty serious gear. You're getting people who
Yeah.
are like paying attention to all the details and cleaning up every frame
Yeah.
and getting
Yeah.
like everything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's like a full effort. Okay, let's
Yeah.
keep going.
Can I have a coffee, please?
Is there some kind of like diffusion on this or something? Like, why does it seem so hazy?
Yeah, we use
We use haze a lot.
Oh,
haze, and we
okay.
also use a Promis filter.
Oh, okay,
I think
nice.
it's like 1/8.
Oh yeah.
It makes it feel dreamy.
For two?
There's such great contrast between the pro mist and the warm oranges and the like the dreamy magic hour sequences, and then this like blue tinted, mostly dark. Like, is that type of visual contrast preconceived? Do you have that sense of like what you want it? You want that much contrast like between these different scenes, or did that just like is that kind of accidental?
This instance, it's in the edit.
This happened in the edit.
Okay.
Sometimes we do think like that,
Mm.
but this was not one of those times.
Okay.
We had it going from the beach scene to the cafe
Very
scene.
linear, like watching Emma grow up
Right.
until she gets to teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had this shot, and we're like, it doesn't really fit at the end. It just feels like a bit clunky. And we threw it like right after the like really dreamy childhood sequence, and it just like hit us. And that was like one thing we were really excited about. Like, whoa, now I like this trailer.
And it changes the whole context of the trailer because now we're saying that was probably her memory. Like she's thinking about this, and we're actually the real time of the actual trailer is this moment right
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
We're actually with her right now in the bed, like waiting.
And it reminds
get
you
up.
that something must have went wrong from that childhood to now. What happened in between?
Yeah.
Why is she, in bed like this, like kind of sad?
Again, just like so much darkness. I like literally that's like the only smidgen of humanity we get is like a little bit right there and right there. It's just pretty bold to like shoot that much black.
What's also cool is like the red the red and the red
Mhm.
of this camera, like it kind of matches.
Mhm.
And there's the color theory rule of, I forget if it's 60-30-10
Mhm.
with colors.
Right.
So if you have like the majority of it should be 60% of one color, then you have a 30%, and then you have a 10. So I think that's kind of happening here a little bit because
By accident.
the red is like a 10%.
Wasn't that intentional?
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
that intentional. But it's like we realize after, that's why it looks good to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when you shoot backlit, like it really outlines the parts you need to see.
Hey, Dad, do you want to see my dance routine?
Of course. Is this about the driver's test?
No, I don't know. It's everything.
Okay. You need to get out of your head. You need to get out of the house. Let's go for a walk.
It's freezing.
There's got to be something you can put your creativity towards, something you can get excited about.
I think I want to make a YouTube channel.
All right. All right, I'll be your first subscriber.
Hi guys, my name is Emma, and today I'm showing you some lookbooks inspired by San Francisco.
Ugh, why is this so uncomfortable to watch?
All you need to do is be yourself.
As you can see, I'm profusely bleeding from my forehead right
God, it's so fun to watch this. I mean, I can see why I can see why you guys are like, you know, getting a lot of momentum. It's the fusion of like two things that you would never expect to be fused. Like you would never expect to see a movie of a YouTuber's life. And
Yeah.
like even the pacing, like the fact that the drums come in there, like we all know what's coming. Like this is
Yeah.
when Emma gets into YouTube,
Yeah.
and like the energy picks up, and like
Yeah.
the story kind of shifts out of anxiety and depression and
Mm.
into like
Yeah.
this next chapter.
Yeah.
There's something about that sequence that just feels like the inciting incident, you know? And
Yeah.
like feels like here we go.
That was when we were talking to Emma's dad, and he was like, we said, when did she start? Like what made her get into it?
And we asked him like
Put us in the space. Like,
yeah, tell us the environment you're in when you remember her like confessing that she wanted to do YouTube for the first time. He explained like she was really sad, crying in her bed, and I told her let's go for a walk, and he even told us the exact spot they went for a walk. So that boardwalk scene was exactly where it actually happened, and that's so trippy for Emma to watch. We showed it to her recently, and she was freaking out at that. It's kind of creepy that we like found the exact spot.
I bet that was wild for her.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like it's like literally seeing your memories turned into a movie.
Right.
And I think that's the concept that we just think is so interesting.
The more like nuanced, like obscure things, like the
Right.
memories that you don't really remember, and if we can go there and
Right.
turn that into a movie again, because like for YouTubers, a lot of their memories are online,
Mm.
but the more fun ones are like they don't even remember it. It's nowhere. It can't be found.
Yeah, the ones that
and
aren't
we kind of like recreate it.
Right.
like
Yeah.
the videos that aren't on her channel are the cool things to recreate here. Like we have a little bit of like these, like for example, this one's a video on her channel. It's like a callback for her fans to kind of like, you know, feel like, oh, I remember that video.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting when you can recreate the scenes that aren't found on the internet anywhere.
Right.
But also it's like really like it's very heavy to like have almost like the creator's story on our shoulders of like how are we going to tell this, and are we going to miss like I hope we don't miss anything important, or I hope we like this scene plays well on camera. and
Right.
things
Like you
that.
want to do right by them.
And it's also their audience as well. They like we're making it for them as well, and they know this person extremely well, often a lot better than we know them. So we have to like make sure we're not getting anything wrong.
When we start doing our research and like writing out our story beats, we kind of we treat it like we're writing a feature film, and we like think about it as in like act 1, act 2, act 3. If this was fleshed out into a 90-minute feature, what would the story be? And then from there we go, okay, well this scene, let's like think of it in like how can we tell this scene in like 2 lines max,
Right.
and then how can we tell this part in like the shortest way possible and make
Yeah.
it really efficient. And that makes it feel like it does have all those same story beats you find in a movie. So this is like our brain dump of our research. It's not formatted amazingly.
So
but
this comes before the script.
yes.
Okay.
So we'll kind of write like how it's like a beat sheet, I guess. So we know it's going to start with this kind of like melancholy vibe.
Yep.
Something's gone wrong. Like you hear her dad introduce that character really early, and then it will cut to like her childhood and seeing her alive, playful, inspired. And on the side, we kind of like throw images from her videos that inspire us. You can tell the shower shot made it into the intro, like on the beach, them playing with the sticks and the driftwood. And then we also try and link where we can, like some of the videos we want to recreate.
Oh, cool. So you're actually like, okay, let's get a shot from this classic
Yeah.
Chamberlain video
Yeah.
that the fans
The
will
fan
really
service.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And also we try to like something we're super passionate about is like but and therefore making sure a story beat isn't there for no reason. Like the cause and effect is clearly evident.
Mm.
So we try if
Oh, that's cool.
if it doesn't fit into like a but and therefore, we'll try to delete it.
I'm not familiar with the but and therefore
Oh, really?
heuristic for story. I mean, there's plenty of heuristics for storytelling that I know.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I learned early on from like improv was once upon a time there was a blank, and every day that blank blanked
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
until one day
Mm-hmm.
blank,
Yeah.
and then blank, and then blank, and then blank, and since that day blank.
Yes.
Like as like a format, you
Yeah.
sort of fit everything into that format.
Mm.
Can you walk us through but and
Yeah.
therefore? I mean, I think I get it, but like just walk me through why that connects or why
So-
that makes sense for stories.
So pretty much what it is like, if something happens in your story, if there's a list of beats, and you can just say and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, then you don't have a story because there's no conflict and they're not technically related. They're not in a specific order. You could like switch them around, and they would still just be like and then. So that's not going to keep people engaged because they don't have to watch the next thing. So the but therefore is like something happens, but this happens. So there's a conflict, and then therefore this happens.
There's an effect.
There's an effect. So the
Mhm.
cause and effect, and that should take you through the whole story. And then technically that is the best form of, in our opinion, retention for a video. Like
Mm.
instead of like, quick cuts and trying to tell people this is going to happen at the end of the video and like trying to trick people to watch till the end. If you have like a good cause and effect, they're hooked every second.
How can they not
every
like,
scene.
keep watching?
Yeah.
Because every event is like chain linked to the one before.
Okay, now tie that back into what you said at the beginning, which is questions.
Mm.
So
Mm.
like how do you do that and still pose questions that
Mm.
keep people guessing? Or
Mm.
or is the question come at the beginning and then but and therefore sort of happens after that?
I would say they're questions as well. And it's also that idea of opening curiosity loops. So if you have a but, to me, that's like there's an obstacle. So the question with an obstacle. So for example, if you have a character who's struggling and has no way to like figure out how they're going to get through, the question is how are they going to get through?
Mm-hmm.
So once that question is posed, then the character has to decide, therefore they're going to do this. So it's kind of like question and answer, you could
Mhm.
also say.
And then once you get the answer, there's like, because of that answer, there's a new question that comes up.
It has to cause another question.
Yes.
That's the key there. Otherwise, you're like finishing a question and then you're just lingering around and then people just want to
Watch something else.
tune
Right.
out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm moving to LA and you can't say no.
That's amazing.
LA is crazy. I'm bowling with the Dolan twins.
Do you ever get sick of painting?
I'm so tired. And it's so hard to do anything creative when I feel like this.
You feel like what?
Like there's nothing in me that wants to film right now.
So don't.
I can't. I can't.
didn't want to pause it because it was just so nice. When it comes back to this shot here, it feels like you guys just answered the question, right? Like this feels like the setup that we saw at the beginning, where we see her on the ground and we're like wondering what the hell's going on. I feel like at minute 4:24, like that story point is resolved.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys were thinking about returning to the shot, or was there is there something else that you're walk me through the arc of this? I guess.
So the intrigue is broken here because like you were wondering at the start, why is she so sad? What could be so wrong? It's Emma Chamberlain, that kind of thing, and a lot of people have that question. But then once you see how much she was all the struggles she was going through, saying to her dad like, it's hard to keep this up, and I feel like I can't do this. Now we have the answer, and like also visually, we changed this shot so that it's focused on the camera now.
Yeah.
It used to be focused on her.
Mm-hmm.
So now all the like happy times was like she was living through the camera, but the camera was like in the background. But now she's living her life, and it's just like the camera is in her face.
She can't escape.
It's taken
being on
over.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the question that was posed at the beginning. Like, what went so wrong? It's like every day is being filmed.
A lot of people, don't realize why it's hard to do what she's doing.
Right.
Like, because there's a lot of harder things in life, and like she's got it really good with her whole career. But we're just trying to show visually why we think it would have been so hard. Imagine having this camera in your face when you wake up, when you make coffee, when you eat breakfast, when you go to the shower, like when
you're trapped.
You're trapped by this camera. So that's kind of like why we did that. And yeah.
And it feels like because this is such like an emotional moment, you guys can like give it a lot of silence and space because like we're not going to stop watching at this point.
Yeah.
So you can kind of stretch it out and elongate this moment because it feels like such a pivotal, deep moment. So there's just like, I want to watch the sequence again because there's so much silence.
It's drawn out.
This shot is fucking genius.
That's my favorite shot of the whole thing.
Favorite.
You know what it feels like in a movie? It feels like when the bad guy, like 2/3 of the way through the film, gets murdered.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And then you see the real bad guy. And like, I feel like you're revealing the music, like it's like, suddenly as an audience, we're like, oh, it's the camera.
It's the villain of the story.
Yeah.
Yes, there's like something very sinister about this sequence. And then it's this dark outline.
It looks kind of scary.
Yes.
It's also the surprise of like, you thought for a second she had a moment to herself.
Yeah.
A moment to just breathe and talk to her dad.
Her most vulnerable moment.
And then it reveals, no, the camera's still staring at her.
Yes. It's like oppressive. It feels like this force.
Yeah.
And it's like pointing at her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's masterful. This pan, like it's just a pan, right? You guys are on sticks and you're just panning. Oh God, it's so good. It really is masterful, guys.
Thank
it's
you so much.
masterful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And the inspiration for that moment was when she was on Colin Samir and they were talking about YouTube is addictive. Like the reason, a lot of people don't understand why she was struggling, but it's like she wanted to keep filming herself.
Yeah.
So that's the weird tension about that shot is like she is the one that put the camera there. And she's calling her dad and saying, I don't want to do this, but she's still doing it to herself. So I think there's a lot of like interesting things about that.
Yeah, it's like somehow without dialogue, you guys are able to capture so much more like psychological nuance by a shot like that. The script, like you're not telling us about that tension. You're really showing. I know show don't tell is almost like whatever, but like you really nailed it here. It really feels like you're capturing the depth of what makes it so hard.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
A lot of our earlier films were non-dialogue. Like when we were starting out learning filmmaking, we wouldn't even write like scripts or any dialogue. We would just film a story where the character wouldn't say anything.
Right.
And I think that really helped us grow that muscle of show don't tell.
Yeah.
It's just more interesting. Like so much more can be said when you're not using words.
Yes.
Yeah.
podcast. You got anything? You haven't painted anything, you good?
Just take it in the view. How about anything goes?
As a title?
Yeah, because you could just kind of feel it out. Like it's a podcast, you can do whatever you want. It completely sets you free.
Dad, that's a terrible idea. Hi, guys. It's Emma Chamberlain. Welcome to my new podcast, Anything Goes. This is so weird. I will upload again, I promise. But what I realized was if I stop treating YouTube like my job, then YouTube becomes so much more fun. That way I can just play.
Do you ever get sick of painting?
Every artist needs to live, to grow.
Hi, AD. I'm Emma Chamberlain, and this is my house.
So that when you come back to your craft, you have something new to say.
I literally have chills right now. I wish you guys could see my arms. God. It's so well done, guys. It's so well done. I didn't want to pause again because like there's this wonderful moment though. One of the things I want to go back to was this sort of ramp up to the seagulls.
Treating YouTube like my job, then YouTube becomes so much more fun. That way I can just play.
The way the music opens up there and the filters open up and then you hear the seagull sound effects, it's just like freedom.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful moment. Did that come together in post or did you sort of think about creating that beforehand?
That was in post.
That was in post. These like 3 shots in a row of her like playing as a kid were meant to be at the beginning. It just felt so right to put it here, especially after she says she can just play.
Yeah, that moment in the song was like, oh, we have to go to the birds.
Even this song is so
See the
different to what
birds.
we normally use. At like the end of these songs, we normally do something really hype with a beat.
Right.
And this doesn't have any drums or anything, but it just like carries that ending, that climax really well.
So did you edit to the song for this very ending or did you edit first and then find a song?
Yeah, we have it rough and then we're trialing songs and like putting different songs in.
Yeah.
And then once we nail it, then we just like re-edit it to the song.
2 questions for you guys. How long did this film take to make? And then what is the average time that it takes to make one of the trailers?
I think on average it kind of takes like between 2 to 3 months from pre-production to final edit.
Wow, so that's a serious lift.
Yeah. It's a huge job and it's
'Cause
part
we're
of the
like-
reason we don't post that often.
Yeah, it's hard to do. So we're researching for like a week and a bit, maybe 2
Couple
weeks.
weeks, yeah.
Then we're writing for like a week and a bit. Then we have to get a script to whoever's helping us produce. So we'll have a friend who's like getting locations, props, actors while we're like finding our doppelganger for the person. That all takes like, we need to give him like 2 weeks for it to be good enough. Sometimes they do it in like a week, which is crazy. Then we shoot for 3 days.
Yeah. Often the trailers take 3 days to shoot. And then
we edit like
a
crazy.
couple of weeks of editing. Usually our editing deadline is the premiere where we're showing the creator. And often it's very it's very tight and we're just like scrambling. There's a few videos where we're like editing on the plane there. One time we're editing on the Uber ride to the premiere.
For Zach King.
And so
we exported as we were
my
walking
God.
into the theater.
That's amazing.
But this one we had a bit of time, which was nice because Emma's schedule is obviously very tight too.
What's next? What do you guys want to do? Where is this going? Like 5 years from now? Do you talk about that? Do you talk about 5 years?
That's all we talk about.
So what is 5 years from now?
We want to make movies.
Yeah.
We want to make like
we have like
features.
we have a few movie ideas. We have like a series that we've been talking about for like 6 years.
Yeah.
That we always thought would be like really good for YouTube, like released on YouTube. Like it's like a full proper TV show series. But we also don't like we also want to like make stuff like this and this is cool because like it feels like we're always like trialing something new, or like it's a really good like place to like
refine our skills,
or just like I don't know. I think having an audience that we're like putting something out to and seeing how it goes, is always probably going to be something we do. So like the YouTube channel is like we love that. It's not like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
But we want to make movies.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting about how you guys have approached this is your channel is simultaneously like the movie, this thing, and then also the behind the scenes. You sort of have a channel with two formats like inherently built in.
Yeah.
That's just also like an interesting premise for a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that many other channels that kind of have that core idea.
Yeah, I think that was something when we started the channel. We were like, we could just post our films here, but like people would get to know us on a way deeper level if we can show them our story, who we are, show the behind the scenes, but also like the trajectory of where we want to go and like kind of paint the picture behind the scenes. And so we kind of like told ourselves even from the beginning, let's post the film, but then let's always post the BTS, so it's equally like you get to see our art, but also see who we are.
We also talked about should we just create two separate channels?
Yeah.
One for the films, one for the BTS, because we were like,
it's clean.
We were learning about YouTube. It's like audiences might be different. Like there might be people that want to watch just these kind of cool short films, and people that want to follow like a fun behind the scenes journey of us trying to like become directors. But every time we like separated, we're like, no, we want to kind of train or like find an audience that wants to see our work and not just have that on the side.
Yeah.
Like, because it's harder to get these ones seen, and these are really where we're like super passionate about.
Right.
So
yeah, and
it's been working.
When people watch our films with the context of like our story, I think it does change the viewing experience as well, because they're proud of us that we've done what we feel is our best work. And we see that in the comments.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're rooting for you guys more once we get to see you actually going through the pain of making the phone calls and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, the other benefit of that is like you guys get the practice of like vlog style 30-minute fast paced YouTube video.
Yeah.
But then you also get to make cinema.
Yeah.
And do both.
Yeah.
And so you get to like practice both.
That's so cool.
That's amazing. Like what a great setup.
Yeah. It's like set up to like, because the BTS videos are even more the viral thing. They people want to see their favorite YouTuber with a cinematic like film of their life reacting to that.
Right.
So that for that series, really, it's baked in that one's gonna get more views. So we see it like we've created this viral video concept that lets us make cool cinematic films.
We have to pinch ourselves sometimes because it's like such a dream what we get to do.
Do you guys think you're going to do a lot more of these, or do you think you're going to like is there something else on the horizon?
We've thought about like putting a number on it.
Like a finite amount left, which could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
To like say there's only 4 left that are coming out.
But we keep on saying like, oh, if we do that, like what if we want to make another one?
Yeah.
So
it's hard.
So we probably won't do that.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe by the time this comes out, we have done that.
Oh yeah, we don't know. But there's other things. There's a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Like we see it as one series on our channel, and there's probably going to be like different kind of series that come out. We've already got like 2 or 3 other ones that we are excited about.
We've got a bunch of ideas that are coming out in 2025 that are like they're not necessarily about a specific creator, which is new for us to kind of post something on YouTube that doesn't have a creator's name in it.
Right.
And it'll be fun to like test out what our audience likes that isn't attached to like a certain name.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in.
This is the best.
Thank you.
So fun.
Yeah. It's so good to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Honestly, geeking out on like film stuff with you is just so fun.